My family hasn't been wealthy since I was born. As the youngest of 4 siblings, I always wore my older brother's hand-me-downs. I understood hand-me-down clothes and toys, but even my backpack and musical instruments like the melodica and recorder were passed down from them. I never complained to my parents.
We don't have the money. It can't be helped. Being the youngest, it can't be helped.
That's what I thought. Despite my impoverished upbringing, I went to college on a scholarship. While all my brothers went straight to work after high school, I didn't follow in their footsteps. No, I didn't want to live the same life. I'm grateful to my parents. They raised me after all. But now, I'm a respectable adult in society. I successfully landed a job at a leading food manufacturer, #1 in sales in the industry. My brothers worked at a local factory, so my parents were thrilled when I got a job at a major food manufacturer.
You've done well, Jim. I'm proud of you.
Congrats, Jim. Keep it up.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. I'll work hard, I promise. And with my new job, I moved out of my parents' house to live on my own. The first 3 years were tough, almost making me want to quit. I wasn't seeing the results I hoped for and just kept doing the best I could. I was the first to arrive in the morning and stayed late to do overtime whenever possible. I worked desperately hard. And finally, my efforts paid off. Now earning a stable salary and living a peaceful life. I guess it's about time to think about marriage. Yes, I'm turning 30 this year. I've been thinking about the future with my girlfriend, Mary, whom I met in college. Mary works as a medical administrative assistant. It seems like the right age to get married is around 30. It would be great if there were some good occasion. Oh yeah, if the next project deal goes well, I'll propose. I made up my mind about that. One day, as usual, I went to work at a company. When I arrived, my colleagues were buzzing with news. What's going on?
Turns out, the executive director's daughter is going to be assigned to our department.
Oh, really?
It's going to be a bit awkward.
Apparently, it was decided that the executive director's daughter would join our department. And at the morning meeting, the executive director's daughter was introduced.
This is Lucy Miller, starting in this department today. As you all know, she's the executive director's daughter. Feel free to ask her anything, and I hope you'll all make her feel welcome.
I'm Lucy. Nice to meet you all.
She said with a brief greeting. She was heavily made up with dyed hair and long, flashy nails. Not really my type. From day one, her presence threw our department into chaos.
Lucy, could you make some copies for me?
Copies? I don't know how to. What paper size?
I overheard this exchange between her and the colleague. She doesn't even know how to make copies. She must have been very spoiled. This could be problematic.
Lucy, we have guests in the meeting room. Could you make some coffee for them?
Coffee? Do I have to be the one to make it? I'll probably spill it.
Incredibly, she couldn't even manage to serve coffee. The executive director's daughter turned out to be much more troublesome than expected. But everyone turned a blind eye because of who she was. I tried not to let it bother me too much and just focused on my work, but I couldn't help noticing. The arrival of the executive director's daughter had increased everyone's workload significantly. Yes, her involvement seemed to somehow make more work for everyone. That became the norm day after day. She's new, so it can't be helped. I watched over her with patience. One day, a month later, Lucy, the documents we need today aren't these. I explained this to you, right? Can you redo the copies? We had an important meeting at 1 p.m. I had asked Lucy to make copies of the documents. When I checked them, they were completely the wrong documents. And even the stapled order was all mixed up.
Oh, sorry. Can someone else do it? I'm leaving early today.
I was a bit troubled by Lucy's response, but I felt I shouldn't just pass her work off to someone else. Lucy, there's a new deal that might be decided at today's meeting. It's for important documents to be used there. Could you please see it through to the end responsibly?
There's just so much, it got confusing, you know?
I see. Lucy, when you have a lot of documents to copy, you can use the big desk in the unused office. Also, it's important to check that you have the right documents before you start printing. It would be really sad if the deal didn't go through because of a mistake, wouldn't it? And remember, you're being paid for this time at work, so acting with awareness of that would really help. I gave her a polite and careful warning.
Annoying, I'm trying, okay? Why do I have to be told that?
I was snapped back at by her. Then suddenly, a voice from behind.
What's going on here?
Daddy.
Startled, I turned around to see the executive director, Charles, with a stern expression. He was glaring at me. Bad timing. As it turned out, he had just come to our department. Lucy seemed relieved by her father's appearance. Charles, thank you for coming all this way. I apologize for showing you something so inappropriate. We are aware that Lucy has been trying hard, but there were some issues with the documents she was responsible for, and I was just giving some guidance.
I'm sorry about the document mix-up. But I'm leaving early today, so I don't have much time.
What? I was shocked by the difference between Lucy's usual demeanor at work and the way she acted in front of her father.
Don't you think Lucy deserves better? What gives you the right to talk to her like that?
I was taken aback and froze for a moment, but quickly apologized. I'm very sorry.
You're fired.
Why, Charles?
You said terrible things to my daughter. I can't keep someone like that around. You're fired.
I hadn't actually said anything terrible to the executive director's daughter. I was only giving her a heads up because I didn't want her performance to impact our work in the future. But maybe the executive director is just too much of a doting parent. No matter how I tried to explain, it didn't resonate with him. I thought it was pointless to say anything more. Understood. I will resign effective today. But, Charles, you might regret firing me. I said this with a serious expression.
That's hilarious.
The executive director's daughter chuckled and clapped her hands in amusement. I accepted my dismissal quietly and immediately started packing my things at my desk. I had all the projects I was handling saved on a USB device. Since I was suddenly fired, I silently handed it over to a colleague without any other handover. My supervisors and colleagues seemed to want to stop me, but the executive director was glaring with a fierce expression. No one tried to stop me. And then I returned to my empty apartment. I called Mary and told her about what happened today.
I see, that's just like you, Jim. But that executive director really is a doting parent.
Mary said with a laugh. That's right. I knew you'd understand, Mary. Guess I'll start looking for another job.
Good luck. You have experience at a major food manufacturer, so you'll be fine, right?
Thanks. Leave it to me. Talking to Mary cleared my mind. Speaking with her always soothes me. I've always been helped by Mary. Later, when the president came to inspect the department, an incident occurred. The president, Steve, looked around and spoke up.
Why isn't he here?
Excuse me, Steve. Who are you referring to?
Jim. Where's Jim?
Jim. Oh, Jim was fired.
What? Charles, what do you mean by that?
About a week ago, I had to fire Jim. It seems he didn't get along well with my daughter, and he was unfairly admonishing her.
I don't care about that. Why did you fire him? There must be a better reason, right?
Steve shouted angrily.
Just bring him back quickly. He was in the middle of a major deal.
Is that true, Steve?
The executive director paled.
This morning, I received a call from the client. They said the deal is off if he isn't there.
Oh my gosh. I was unaware. I deeply apologize.
The president was trembling with anger now that he realized I was gone, and it seemed the company's phone was ringing off the hook.
Yes, sir, I apologize. Jim is no longer handling this, so I will take over from the next time. Yes, sir. You want to talk to Jim? He has resigned recently. What? You want to cancel the contract? Could you please hold for a moment? Excuse me, Charles. Actually, since about 3 days ago, we've been getting calls one after another saying they won't deal with us if Jim is no longer handling their accounts.
Indeed, other clients whom I had managed were also calling and saying they would stop their dealings if I, Jim, wasn't there.
What are you going to do about this? You're going to take full responsibility, right?
Yikes. I'm terribly sorry. I'll get Jim back right away.
The executive director seemed quite panicked. Then my phone rang. I was just at home searching for job openings. Charles, what do you want with me? I hesitated for a moment to answer the phone, wondering if there had been some problem at the company. Even though I had resigned, I couldn't help but be concerned. Hello, this is Jim. Charles, it's been a while.
Jim, about the other day. I'm really sorry. I regret saying those awful things to you.
Huh? I was surprised to receive an apology from the executive director.
Could you please come back? We really need you.
No, I've resigned already.
No. It was all my fault. Jim, everyone is waiting for you.
I felt a strong sense of responsibility. I actually regretted how suddenly everything had ended. I was curious about what had happened to the projects I was handling. But, can I really go back now?
There are many companies saying they won't sign contracts unless you're here. The company really needs your skills.
That one sentence made me decide to return. Understood. Am I really welcome back?
Of course.
After receiving a desperate apology and plea from the executive director, I decided to return to the company. The next day, I went back to the company from which I had been fired. My supervisors, colleagues, and peers all seemed relieved to see me and welcomed me back warmly.
Welcome back, Jim.
Jim, we're waiting for you.
I'm back. I was happy to be working with everyone again. After all, this is where I belong. This is where I feel most at ease. I immediately contacted the companies I had been dealing with. I apologize for the delayed contact.
Jim, we've been waiting for you. Let's move forward with the talks.
Thank you. I returned to my projects and progressed with the transactions. The transactions were a huge success. The project was about my company making a significant move to expand overseas. The deal with Nest, a top global food manufacturer, brought significant profit to our company. The profit amounted to a staggering $3 million. The president of Nest appreciated my product presentation and recognized both the product and my character. After hearing about our company's passionate commitment to the product, he said, "We definitely want to make a contract." It was a major transaction that I had put a lot of effort into. I was truly happy. Having succeeded in international transactions, I became known in the company as the man who earned $3 million.
The man who earned $3 million. That's really amazing.
My colleagues chuckled and patted me on the shoulder. I'm the most surprised that the big transaction was successful. I laughed. Then, the president, questioning why my evaluations had been poor until now, confronted the executive director.
Charles, about Jim's past evaluations, was there something fishy? Has Jim really never secured a contract before?
It seemed that the executive director had never reported any of the contracts I secured to the president.
Well,
Charles, tell me the truth.
yes. Actually, I had claimed that the contracts secured by Jim were secured by someone else. I apologize.
That's appalling.
The president sighed deeply. The executive director had been intentionally downgrading my evaluations. It seems he was displeased with how effortlessly I handled my duties. I had somehow realized it, because the executive director never praised me. I just felt dislike. Then, I was called into the president's office.
Jim, well done. I'm amazed by your success with a major contract for international expansion. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To think you would secure a deal with the president of Nest. It's all due to your hard work. Thank you.
I'm the one to thank you. Honestly, I was nervous about the large transaction with Nest, but my favorite moment is when I get to sign contracts with any client, planning and negotiating the projects. It's exciting.
I got a call from the president of Nest. You really are reliable. Actually, I want you to serve as a section chief starting in April.
Me, a section chief. I was surprised by the sudden promotion.
I'm counting on you even more in the future.
Thank you very much. I will continue to diligently improve every day. Thank you. My successful large-scale international transaction led to my promotion. As for the executive director, after he learned about my success with the major international transaction, he approached me.
Jim, well done.
Thank you, Charles. The executive director's approach caused a stir around us.
I actually wanted you to mentor my daughter, but I got carried away. I have been properly reporting your evaluations to the higher-ups.
Heh.
What's so funny?
I heard everything from the president. You deliberately lowered my evaluations, didn't you?
No, that's not true.
Just as the executive director was starting to make an excuse, the president suddenly appeared.
What do you think you are? Acting so high and mighty. You need some training.
The president said to Charles. I was surprised, but couldn't help laughing. Then everyone else started laughing too.
Steve.
Charles, I can forgive this incident. I'm assigning you to our branch in the countryside. Go back to the basics and start over.
Is this a demotion?
Yes, it's a demotion.
The president stated clearly.
Please wait, Steve.
It's already decided. Just accept it graciously.
How could this?
The president seemed exasperated with the executive director. The executive director, having been demoted, stood there stunned. Yes, as I was promoted, the executive director was demoted. And then the executive director's daughter was fired after a series of mistakes.
What's going on?
One day, a huge quantity of chocolate was delivered to the company.
Lucy, are you sure about the order quantity for these chocolates?
Huh? I ordered 1,000 pieces correctly, didn't I?
Did you check the number of digits before placing the order? This product is ordered in units of 100. Did you just input 1,000 without checking? I heard they delivered 100,000 units of the product.
Yes, the executive director's daughter made a huge mistake in the order. She seemed quite panicked.
I didn't look at the units.
This is a problem. We don't need 100,000 units. It's going to be a huge loss.
My supervisor sighed heavily. A small mistake can lead to a bigger one. We could no longer cover for the small mistakes made by the executive director's daughter. Additionally, she had become so used to being tardy that arriving late seemed normal. My supervisor, having reached his limit, came to me and the president. He discussed the executive director's daughter's repeated mistakes with us. The president immediately ordered her dismissal. The executive director's daughter had been overly enthusiastic about attending singles events rather than focusing on her work. I wished she had channeled some of that enthusiasm into her job. Later, I heard through the grapevine that Lucy, who met a man at a dating event, was harshly dumped because he couldn't deal with her selfishness anymore. After being fired, she is now apparently working part-time at a supermarket somewhere. Curious, I asked a colleague about the supermarket where Lucy was working and stealthily went to check it out.
Welcome.
She looked different from before. Her hair was black and tied back in one. Gone were her flashy appearances, replaced by a diligent and modest look. Before I knew it, I had stopped to watch her.
Hey, isn't that you, Jim? Welcome. Did you come here after hearing about me?
Lucy said with a chuckle. Oh, Lucy, long time no see. Well, I just came to shop. I replied, a bit flustered.
I thought I'd try to work earnestly. It's just a part-time job for 3 hours, but still.
That's good to hear.
I decided to start from scratch as a part-timer before fully entering society again. I learned my lesson about being spoiled after being fired. I even talked back to you arrogantly before. I'm really sorry for that.
She sincerely expressed her apology. No, I'm glad to see you striving like this now.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Yes, I will. Now, I need to get back to work,
she said as she walked away. Lucy Iso was quite changed from before. People learn from mistakes. Some only realize after being fired. But no one is beyond redemption. As long as you're alive, you can always start over. That's what I thought after seeing her. And I had decided that if I succeeded in a major deal, I would propose. Today, I finally proposed to Mary. I had invited Mary to my house. Mary, will you marry me?
I'd be happy to.
Mary answered with a laugh. Yes, I will definitely make you happy. Thank you for always supporting me.
Thank you, each one of us.
And so, I successfully married Mary. After a while, I discussed with Mary about starting my own business as a sales consultant. I wanted to start my own business and earn money with my own efforts. My desire to test my own abilities grew even stronger after successfully completing an overseas project. I'm thinking of pushing forward as a sales consultant on my own.
That sounds great. I'm sure you'll succeed, Jim, and I support you.
Mary supported my dream of becoming a sales consultant. Thank you. I'll be leaving my current job, but I've learned so much. Not only has my communication and initiative improved as a salesperson, but I've also gotten better at tailoring presentations to clients and thinking from the market perspective of the counterparties. I'm sure these skills will be invaluable when I start my business.
I'm always amazed by your motivation, Jim.
Let's work hard together.
Absolutely.
Mary agreed with a smile. Seeing her smile made me feel very reassured. The next day, I submitted my resignation at a company. The president seemed very disappointed and froze for a moment. However, when I explained that my reason for leaving was to pursue my long-held dream of starting a business, he supported me.
I've always wanted to support you, Jim. Good luck.
Thank you, Steve. Steve, the president, gave me a push of encouragement. Filled with determination, I shouted in front of the company building, "Thank you for everything. I will strive even harder." And so, I successfully resigned and started my own business. Mary quit her job in medical administration to help me with my venture as a sales consultant. Having her by my side truly strengthens me. She's the best wife. I always make it a point to express my gratitude. Mary, thank you for being with me.
Well, who knows what would happen to you without me?
Mary chuckled. And as a sales consultant, I managed to get my business on track and achieve results. I've always tried to meet the needs of my clients. Remembering the basics, I've aimed to progress together without making unreasonable demands. I'm constantly aware of my behavior and attitudes, aspiring to continue growing in the future. Because I know I didn't get here on my own. Remembering the gratitude I owe to those who've supported me, I'll keep moving forward with determination.